You walk through the front door, and your home wakes up to greet you. The lights, the thermostat, and the blinds all adjust perfectly to your evening routine without you lifting a finger. It is the exact retro-future science fiction we were promised. People have eagerly brought these gadgets into their private spaces. Looking at recent data, the average person in the UK now has access to more than 9 connected devices in their daily life. But instead of total convenience, this ecosystem has created widespread tech fatigue. Recent global surveys indicate that 89% of consumers feel overwhelmed by fragmented applications and endless competing notifications. We haven't eliminated household chores, we have simply digitized them. Trying to force different brands to talk to each other and constantly troubleshooting offline hubs adds a thick layer of cognitive load, noticeably elevating our baseline daily stress. And those constant pings from smart speakers and security alerts are exacting a heavy mental toll. Research shows that merely hearing a smartphone or smart home alert impairs cognitive task performance and executive function, even if you actively ignored a notification. We bought these systems to gain absolute mastery over our domestic environment. Instead, we have installed a network that keeps us in a state of continuous, low-level cognitive crisis. To understand exactly how we lost control of our tech, we can measure 2 specific data points: the adoption index, which tracks what we buy, and the usage index, which tracks what we actually use. This chart shows UK digital dependency metrics. The rate at which people acquire smart platforms significantly outpaces their usage. The adoption index is up at 165.9, while the usage index lags at 127. People buy complex systems but struggle to fully integrate them. This gap between what we own and what we know how to use makes us vulnerable. As manufacturers push endless feature updates, we are left dealing with interoperability failures that demand constant cognitive energy to resolve. The result is a bizarre power vacuum. You end up servicing the machine rather than the other way around, with the house dictating your schedule through its technical demands. When your environment is entirely customizable, it quickly triggers what psychologists call the paradox of choice. Having to select the exact Kelvin temperature of your living room lights or program specific heating schedules can cause severe decision paralysis and anxiety. As we outsource daily tasks to algorithms, from remembering to lock the front door to tracking food waste, we begin to lose our everyday manual skills. Our basic physical autonomy is quietly handed over to a silicon brain. Every action inside a smart home generates data. Adjusting a thermostat, turning off a lamp, or opening a fridge is meticulously tracked, recorded, and analyzed by the companies that build these devices. Knowing that your most private movements are constantly logged breeds a specific type of paranoia. It is a lingering Big Brother effect, where the comfort of your own living room is tainted by the invisible gaze of corporate surveillance. That unease spikes into active distress when these systems fail. A glitching door lock, a sudden internet outage, or a headline about a security hack completely shatters your trust, making you realize how vulnerable you are to the technology built into your walls. Over time, the software begins employing subtle digital nudges, dimming lights early or altering the temperature to save energy, guiding your behavior without your explicit consent. It chips away at your personal agency. A living space that tracks, predicts, and manages your entire life eventually stops feeling like a sanctuary. When the house knows everything about you, you no longer feel truly alone, nor truly in charge. This loss of control takes a much darker form in cases of intimate partner violence. Perpetrators actively exploit smart technology, using their status as the authenticated account holder to monitor and control their victims remotely. Abusers have an entire menu of connected devices at their disposal to harass a partner. They can blast loud music through smart speakers in the middle of the night, or manipulate the thermostat to freeze or overheat a room from miles away. The psychological damage of this tech-facilitated surveillance is immense. Victims report the terror of suddenly changing digital entry codes, or the creeping anxiety of feeling watched by a security camera while doing something as mundane as making a cup of coffee. It is exceptionally difficult to escape this form of abuse. Even if the perpetrator moves out, the physical hardware remains embedded in the walls and Wi-Fi networks, leaving the survivor trapped in an invisible prison. Devices marketed to provide ultimate security and comfort are instead highly effective tools for absolute, remote coercive control. Regaining our autonomy requires rejecting the passive adoption of every new gadget. Instead, we have to embrace the philosophy of digital minimalism. A practical first step is a 30-day digital declutter. By stripping away all non-essential smart tech and apps for a month, you can accurately assess which devices actually add value and which ones are just draining your energy. This clears the space to prioritize high-bandwidth, face-to-face conversations over the superficial interactions mediated by screens and algorithms. You can build on this by applying simple digital mindfulness strategies to the tech you decide to keep. Muting non-essential applications and scheduling strict, fixed times to check your alerts drastically reduces the daily cognitive load. When we do integrate smart systems, we should look for invisible, autonomous AI. True intelligence in a home operates silently in the background, smoothly anticipating needs without constantly buzzing your phone for permission. Manufacturers must commit to human-centered design. That means prioritizing user safety, ensuring robust data privacy, and giving consumers a clear, simple way to opt out of connectivity altogether. Buying fewer, better devices and extending their lifetimes also brings substantial financial and environmental benefits, breaking us out of the exhausting cycle of forced, constant hardware upgrades. The smartest home isn't the one with the most flashing screens or voice-activated locks. It is the one where technology acts as a quiet servant to human autonomy, rather than the master of our attention.